stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. Today is Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. This is episode number 426 of a show where we co-create life together, a show where our lives oftentimes change and transition, much like the seasons, and that is where we're at today, with the last day of summer upon us and the first day of autumn tomorrow. And with the seasonal transition taking place, it seems appropriate for an Old Farmer's episode, or an Old Farmer's Almanac episode rather, where we take a look at the daily almanac and we can read information like who was born on this day, what happened today in history, information such as there's one day until autumn begins. There's questions of the day, puzzles of the day. There's little poems just like this from Abraham Cowley, an English poet who lived from 1618 until 1667 and wrote, "The thirsty earth soaks up the rain and drinks and gapes for drink again. The plants suck in the earth and air with constant drinking, fresh and fair." The Daily Almanac arrives in your inbox and has a bunch of different articles like, for example, today, with it being September 21st, we've got articles on perennial mums, how to overwinter mums. Every year in the fall, I suffer a bout of mum madness when garden centers and big boxes brim with cheery chrysanthemums. They produce lovely fall colors, but what do we do when they finish blooming? Here's how to plant mums and keep them alive through winter. Check out the link in the show notes on how to deal with perennial mums. There's an article titled Weather Proverbs and Prognostics. Rain and clouds. Predict the weather with our collection of weather proverbs and folklore about rain and clouds. Which is your favorite? With the amount of rain that we've been having lately, I think we are going to touch on this article in today's show, but let's continue on and see what else the Daily Almanac has to offer today. We've got an article titled, "What is the best manure compost for gardens?" Animal manure has long been used as a fertilizer in gardens and on farm fields, creating nutrient-rich, moisture-retaining soil for your plants. See the best type of manure for your garden and the best time to apply. So if you are interested in compost and manure, check out that article in the show notes, which I will link to as well. There is also an article for homemade applesauce for canning. Homemade applesauce is so easy to make. You can preserve your fall apples by canning your applesauce in a water bath canner for year-round deliciousness. I know a lot of you guys out there listening are actively in the kitchen right now. It is go time. And if you're interested in what the Old Farmer's Almanac's take is on canning applesauce, then check out the show notes for an article to read that. And then finally, there is an article with a recipe for a pork and sweet potato stir fry, because we are always looking for quick and easy weeknight meals, and our recipe for pork and sweet potato stir fry is spot on. This takeout, fake-out dish is full of tender pork, colorful veggies, and flavorful spices. Helpful hint, chop and dice all of the veggies before you start cooking. All right, so, yeah, that sounds good. I don't know about you, but I'm in the middle of actively eating as much as I can that is given to me by Cody. Seasonal vegetables are, they're in season. Fresh vegetables are in season, I should say. And there's an abundance around here, and it's really a blessing to be in a place where we are growing and collaborating and working together as we go about life in the various ways that we go about it here on York Meadow Farm. Real quick, York Meadow Farm is the sponsor of today's show, and you can find out more about what's going on with the online store, which is going to officially open tomorrow, by going to the show notes. Definitely consider signing up for our email newsletter. We do not blast regularly like a lot of people do. This originally began as a monthly update from the farm and homestead, and until the launch of the online store, it has remained that way. And then we've done some weekly updates. We're going to do one more today, and then we'll go back to our monthly updates until we've got other special events or other things going on that we need to talk about. So if you want to get an inside look, kind of a behind the scenes look at what's going on here at York Meadow Farm, then sign up for the newsletter. That's the best way to find out. And by doing so, that'll give you the ability to see all of the past episodes of the newsletter and kind of get a snapshot into the history when we first started assembling or writing the newsletter, which was a couple of years ago, I guess now. Anyways, links in the show notes for that. Subscribe, and also, guys, if you buy from the store, and I would encourage you to do so, that's really the best way to support the show and everything that we're doing here. When you purchase items from the store, be sure to use the promo code or discount code All Around Growth to receive the best discount we are offering at this time. All Around Growth to save big. All right. This is going to go on for an undetermined amount of time, but it's 25% off your order in its entirety. And that's not limited to. You can order as many times as you want as long as we are running that. 25% off is what you will save for listening to this show and supporting us here on the farm and homestead. So anyways, that's about it. Let's take a look at this article titled Weather Proverbs and Prognostics, Rain and Clouds. Predicting the weather with Proverbs. Now, this article was written just a couple days ago on September 19th, 2022, and reads, predict the weather with our collection of weather proverbs and folklore about rain and clouds. Which is your favorite? Weather proverbs, rain and clouds. And these are just simple statements, bullet points. I will read one by one. Some of which you may be very familiar with, some of which may be new. Unusual clearness in the atmosphere with distant objects seen distantly indicates rain. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red sky at morning, sailor take warning. Evening red and morning gray are sure signs of a fine day. Evening gray and morning red, put on your hat or you'll wet your head. If it rains before 7, it will clear before 11. And that may be the case for today. Rained before 7. I'm recording at 7:50 a.m. Let's hope it stays this way for the day, for the people who are outside working. Rain from the south prevents the drought, but rain from the west is always best. And if I'm not mistaken, this is exactly what we've got, rain from the south, not from the west. Hopefully everybody down in Puerto Rico is doing okay with the weather that has taken place down there, and every place else south of us that is experiencing some drastic events. Anyways, moving on. Anvil-shaped clouds bring on a gale. A cloud with a round top and flat base carries rainfall on its face. When small clouds join and thicken, expect rain. Black clouds in the north in winter indicates approaching snow. When there is enough blue sky to patch a Dutchman's breeches, expect clearing weather. A curdly sky will not leave the earth long dry. If you see clouds going crosswind, there is a storm in the air. Henscarts and filly tails make lofty ships wear low sails. Clouds floating long enough to cast shadows on the ground are usually followed by rain. Mackerel sky, never long wet, never long dry. If 3 nights dewless there be, 'twill rain, you're sure to see. If a heavy dew soon dries, expect fine weather. If it lingers on the grass, expect rain in 24 hours. With dew before midnight, the next day will sure be bright. If you wet your feet with dew in the morning, you may keep them dry for the rest of the day. Did we miss any? And share your favorite weather lore. Well, guys, this was a bit of a big nothing burger. Yeah. Old Farmer's Almanac today was kind of a letdown, but the reality is I'm getting a late start to show notes, show prep. We're, in addition to the seasonal change making me think about the Old Farmer's Almanac and how appropriate it would be because of the fact that today is the last day of summer. The reality is I didn't do a whole lot of show prep this morning because I sat down and started working on the online store just to make sure everything is in line, update the inventories of some of the products that I have not done so yet, double check some of the listings, just make sure, run the last few test orders that I need to run, and get a blog post out there. So I started working on that this morning, and then realized, hey, you need to record a show here, Rob. So yeah, Old Farmer's Almanac was, but unfortunately, the Old Farmer's Almanac was just wasn't a whole lot. And as far as the other articles, guys, I hate mums. I think mums are probably like one of the. I don't know. My background in the nursery industry has me not on the best of terms with perennial mums. However, now that I'm here on the homestead, and I'm no longer working in the green industry in that regard, maybe it might be nice to go buy some mums sometime. But I'll give it one full season, one full season of being out of the industry before I want to dip my toes back into that, all right? Yeah. Maybe I should have covered the best manure and compost for gardens, but, again, I'll link to all of these topics in the show notes. The best manure compost for gardens, homemade applesauce for canning, what we just read about Weather Proverbs, perennial mums if you're interested in that, and also the recipe for pork and sweet potato stir fry, that is. So for now, I am going to get this uploaded and then return to work, get to work in the kitchen. I think we've got a batch of jalapeno cilantro kraut to make today. Some traditional, some caraway to pack, although that's not entirely necessary to do. It's really just the things that we've got to make and get those actively fermenting so that we are on schedule, on rotation. But the big thing we got to do today is get a blog post up, get an email out, and make sure that everything is in line and ready to go with the online store. So guys, one last time, if you're listening and, check out the show notes, subscribe to our email, get updates when you can. Yeah, you'll get updates, or you'll get what am I trying to say here? You'll get discounts from time to time as an email subscriber for sure, but you'll get even better discounts as a listener to the show. So, if you're a listener to the show, you win. If you are not an active listener to the show, like you don't listen to every episode, that's okay. Sign up to the email, stay up to date with everything that you need to stay up to date with, and you get the best of both worlds. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. And I very much look forward to tomorrow with an update on the grand opening of the launch of the online store. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
In a world of pain, what can I do? The needs are many and answers are few. People turn away and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never